Hey, core reporters, welcome back to my channel. It's time for a recap of what went down on this week's episode of Teen Mom Next Chapter. When they said it was a 2-hour episode, I was like, oh God, it's 2 hours in one sitting. But then when I went to the CTV website to watch it for this recap, it turns out that it's 2 episodes split up. So thank God for that. I watched the first one, which we'll be recapping, and then I'm going to go for a walk, come back and watch the second and recap that a little bit later, okay? So just off the top, I gotta say that I cannot believe that Caitlyn brought her mom to the Carly visit. She, just like Jade, is a glutton for punishment. I keep on telling you guys. Like, the mom disrespected her so badly in last week's episode. She was insulting her, just all sorts of crazy things. How do you turn around and say, hey, you know what would be a great idea? To bring this unstable, addict around my child. God knows what she's going to do or say, but let's find out. It just seems so stupid to me, but I digress. So then we've got Jade inviting all the girlies to her wedding, which, by the way, played out in real time this weekend. It was kind of cool how that synced up to the episode and everything. So the wedding invitation was absolutely gorgeous. Everybody seemed excited for it. And I saw some of the photos and videos play out on social media this weekend, and her wedding looked really beautiful. She and Sean looked great. I saw Cheyenne was there, Macy, Taylor, Devon, Brianna, Brittany was there. Cheyenne's parents were there. So many people. So it looked like they were celebrated by a lot of people, which is always great. I saw her parents were there. So hopefully that means that they are still on their sobriety journey. Now, back in Vegas, Ashley talks about how much her daughter Holly misses her father, Bar. Remember, Bar is stuck in California for about 2 years due to the format of his probation and whatnot. So it's really, really tough. It's like a long distance fathership or whatever at this point. And it's got to be quite almost traumatic for Holly to go from having her dad around all the time to this being a long distance sort of a thing. Now, let's get into Ace, Cheyenne and Zach's son, constantly calling Zach by his first name, Zach. I shouldn't be laughing, you guys, but I found it so funny. I think it's because my nephew went through a little phase like that too with his dad. At a certain age, you got to tell these kids what your names are in case of emergency. If they get lost, you want them to be able to say, I'm looking for my mom and dad. Their names are X and Y, right? So, he was in that phase, and then he would just keep calling his dad by his first name because the dad didn't really mind. And my sister was like, absolutely freaking not. So she had to really be on his butt about that. So that was kind of funny. I get how it can be complicated in a blended family when you've got Ryder calling Zach because Zach is not her father. And so her little brother, of course, following suit with that. And then whenever Ryder would call her dad Corey, dad, the little boy Ace, he copies that too. It's funny how kids work. And MTV was really cold-hearted when they showed that clip of him running to Corey with open arms, daddy, after Ryder called him daddy. It was so funny to me. Now, Amber's back. You guys, I wonder how much she got paid for this season, because I'm pretty sure that these girlies are paid on a per episode basis, but this is probably only the second episode, maybe third, that we've seen her in all season. So I imagine that she didn't make that much money. So she's talking about the nasty state in which Andrew left her home. I don't understand why this is a storyline again, because we already knew about this. The home has been untouched since he left. So why are we acting surprised that it's still in the same state that you left it in, right? Or that he left it in, sorry. So she calls Gary to ask him, Christina, and the kids to come help her see the house and clean it out and whatnot. And so they all head into the car with their extra large, what do you call them? Their big gulp sugary drinks, to pick Amber up and head over to the house. And something that kind of made me laugh a little bit was how Christina sat in the back and let her sister wife Amber sit in the front. Could it be me, you guys? I'm sorry, but absolutely not. Especially with Gary and Amber's history of cheating and just weird boundaries and whatnot. Amber could sit in the trunk for all I care, but definitely not in the front seat. No. Christina, girl. Now, Let's get into Caitlyn. So Caitlyn, she has done the Carly visit and everything like that. And so at this point, she's talking to her friend about it. And it's her OG friend from the 16 and pregnant days. And I just gotta say, I was so happy to see that Caitlyn was in a better place now to handle these visits. Do you guys remember how like sad and depressed she used to be after visiting Carly? Now it seems like she's happy, she's refreshed, and she's just excited to watch Carly's growth and everything. And like all the compliments that she showered Carly with were absolutely beautiful to behold. So guys, now we're back in Indiana with Jade, where she is driving around town. She sees a sign saying that a certain place is hiring. So what does Jade do? She calls up the place to ask, just to verify that they're still hiring, so that she could find out for her son. Oh, sorry, I mean her dad. God, like I just hate that she has to be these people's parents. They are such a big burden on her, and it is absolutely unfair. Like the dynamic should not be like this. I feel so sad for Jade whenever I watch her scenes. I'm like, girl, like this is not the way life is supposed to be lived. Like what the hell is wrong with your parents, you know? Now, remember how Holly was missing Bar and like, expressing some sadness about him and whatnot? Well, Bar actually surprises Holly while she's doing a like ceramics painting session with her mom, Ashley. And she just seems so, so happy and excited about it. And it was really adorable to see how much she appreciated the visit. And I just loved hearing her express her emotions so clearly about how she felt not having her dad around, what she loved about having her dad around when he was, not on probation and in the same state and everything. And yeah, it was very bittersweet as far as scenes go, to be honest with you guys, because it's like, yeah, it's great that she's got her dad here, but it's only temporary, only for a couple of days, and that his probation is going to go on for like 2 years, so she's going to be going through the sadness for a while. And like 2 years to us flies by, but 2 years to a kid, Lord, laisse tomber. So you guys, again, we're back in the Amber scene. She's like in the house with Gary, Christina, and the girls. Why are they acting surprised that the house still stinks? They knew it stank. They knew it was left in a terrible state when they were last there. So I didn't get it. I felt like it was very dramatic. I don't understand why they brought the kids there. Like they're practically gagging or whatever, like from the smells in the house and whatnot. So I'm like, then why bring, Christina, I felt like could have stayed home with the kids, because that's just a little bit too nasty in my opinion. And then like, I guess Gary, but maybe she was worried about Gary cheating on her with Amber again or something like that. So she wanted to be there. I don't know, but it just felt like not the greatest family date. Like I feel like they could have just sent people in to clean the house. That's what I would have done. And I'm a regular person. So like these people with like big TV money, like I don't get why they wouldn't just, go that route. Be like, okay, like anything like toys, baby clothes, whatever that looks to be in good state, keep it. Everything else, throw it out and clear out the place, So I don't know. Then they do this montage. Well, first of all, Amber starts crying with no tears as usual. And then they do this montage of her playing with James. Notice how they only had, like 2 clips before she lost custody of him. Like she lost custody of Leah. I'm sorry, you guys, but they were trying so hard to make her seem like this devoted, loving mother who's just so devastated and traumatized. I'm like, girl, stop. You do not lose custody of both your kids for no reason, especially as a mom. Like, stop. And we heard those tapes, the way you were screaming and stuff in front of that child, even about that child, how you didn't want to take care of him. Like, girl. So now let's get into April disrespecting Caitlyn during the Carly visit. Okay. So I think since last season now, Caitlyn has had a certain boundary with April, which is that she cannot be drinking, because when she starts drinking, she starts getting really, really mean and just really sloppy. And it's not good to have that around Caitlyn. She's still very much triggered from her childhood, which is super understandable. But then like she doesn't want to expose her children to it, right? And one thing that I did notice from the top of the episode was how April wasn't staying in that big house with them. Like Tyler's mom was staying, other people were staying. They got enough room for everybody, but April didn't want to stay with them. I guess she was still like cranky or mad at Kate, so she got a motel. And I'm like, girl, that's a big red flag that she's not going to be in a good mood. And when her mom's not in a good mood, she wants to make sure everybody's not in a good mood. So she probably should have been like, you know what? I'm sorry that you came down here and you still seem like you're not in the mood for this. So why don't you just enjoy your time here and we'll go do this visit without you? That's what I personally would have done. But of course, Caitlyn allowed April to come along, and April, being that she has fallen off the wagon a long time ago, she got boozed up during the visit, like not with Carly, but when everybody was gathered around, like having a barbecue or whatever. And it, of course, pisses Caitlyn off because that was a boundary that she's had with her for a while. But listen, I don't feel bad for Caitlyn in this instance because she knew that her mom fell off the wagon. She knew that her mom had just disrespected her like incredibly. She was super insulting to her. She was being verbally abusive to her before this trip, like shortly before, and she still chose to invite her. So it's like, what are you expecting, at a certain point? Like, you got to make tough choices sometimes in life when it comes to family. Now, okay, this is when things get a little bit spicy between Ashley and Bar. So do you guys remember, and I think I did a video on this, when Bar went on Instagram and he made a status update claiming that he and Ashley had broken up. He wishes her the best. Well, Bar was leaving the house, okay, after his visit with Holly. He had to run back for probationary purposes. And Ashley didn't get up to say goodbye, anything like that. She just left Holly to handle it at the door, which I found to be really, really weird, but whatever. And then we show her going out to shake a tail feather with her friends. Then we get to see Barb making that like Instagram post. And then what happens after that, you ask? Well, she's in her closet, just sitting there on this chair, ready to shoot one of those confessionals, and the producers are asking her about the breakup, and she said she doesn't want to talk about it. Listen, like, she's already filmed enough stuff. Like, sharing her life on camera is sufficient and invasive enough. So she's not going to go into details about this breakup. I don't like when reality stars do this. They're like, I've already shared so much. Why can I, share this one detail that's like less invasive than the other stuff I've shared? Like, just say if you broke up or not. That's not like a huge deal, in my opinion. You already acted like you broke up. You've been talking about divorcing this man for a while. So it's not like, I think it's because this time she feels maybe embarrassed because Bar's the one making the announcement and it's blindsiding her. Usually she's the one threatening to leave. But yeah, that's basically her attitude. She's like, I'm not sharing nothing. Goodbye. You could tell she was going through it based on what she chose to wear that shirt. I'm like, girl, that is the shirt of a girl who's going through it, can't see straight, crying too much. So you could see that truly, truly affected her. And I think it's because this time it's Bar. I'm sorry, but if I were like giving a guy like Bar a chance, okay, and then he had the audacity to dump me, I'd be feeling the same way too. I'd be like, really, this man, like, he can't get his life together, like no education, on probation, like all this stuff. And he's breaking up with me. Like, damn, I really played myself here. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of what went down on this week's episode of Teen Mom Next Chapter. As usual, I'm more excited to hear what you have to say about everything. So please make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.